Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Play not Sins of a Solar Empire, Rise and Fall, Civilizations at War, with me, Majora's. So, not only does my name rhyme with the title of this game, but it's a very old game, well not very old, it's about 7 years old, you might want to call that old, but I play older. Anyway, it's a real-time strategy game. It's set in, as you can see, ancient times, with spears and arrows and swords and cavalry and catapults. It's a great fun game. I hope you'll have fun watching me play it. So, I am going to be playing on, not Crete, this map, Quarry. It's a simple 4-player map. I'm going to have three opponents rather, all on our own. There are 4 factions: Greece, Persia, Rome and Egypt. I'll be playing as Egypt, although I do quite like Greece. I'll set my colour to red, I think. It's a good colour to be for Egypt. Well, yellow would be better. Or purple. Well, I kind of like blue. So I'll go blue. And we'll have Greece, Rome, Persia as our enemies. Their colour is randomly assigned. Okay, and there are 4 players. We're going to choose a population limit for the entire map, so this will get evenly distributed before 4 people. I think 500 is a good number. So I'm going to set the limit at 2,000. Again, you can choose any number up to 5,000, but that's a bit ridiculous and the computer will probably die. It's quite an old game. I can run this in quite high settings, so you're in for a show. Hopefully, unless my recording software decides to go to pieces. I've got about 60 frames per second at the moment. Seems good. I'm going to go on higher resources. I'm going to have the map revealed. We're going to lock the teams. Diplomacy in this isn't good anyway. In fact, it's practically non-existent. Use map settings. That's if like there's special features on some maps. There isn't on this, as far as I'm aware. So it's just going to be there's no point in having that on at the moment. Game speed standard. I have played on fast and very fast, but again I prefer standard. We're not going to have outpost victory. Yeah, you can see the description in the box below, this box here. I think it's better just to wipe everyone out. The game will be longer and more intense that way. Although if Persia make it to the late game and get their scythe chariots, it could be a very long game indeed. But we'll get more into that later. I'll be playing on noble difficulty. So I can set it all the way up to 10, Emperor, or down to 1, Jester. I usually like to play... I think I used to play about 7 or 8, but I haven't played this game in a long time. Probably about 3 years. 2 or 3 years. So I'm gonna stick it to noble, and hopefully not get my arse handed to me. Let's start the game. There is naval combat in this game, as you can see. It's decent. Serious regarding historical events, seeing the Persian Empire against like the Egyptian Empire and the Romans. Okay, I'm going to quickly pause this game, mainly because I want to explain some things, and secondly because I like to feel safe. So, first of all I'm going to take a quick look around. That looks like there's an outpost there. That makes sense. And another one there. Okay, so this map is basically a square, as you can see in the bottom left. I had to think about that. That's oddly poor. I chose to reveal the map because scouting in this is not automated, you have to do it manually, and unless I have an ally, which I don't in this case, I usually like to have the map revealed. Anyway, I'll explain some of the more basic stuff. There are 3 resources in the game: wood, gold and glory. Wood you get by chopping down trees. Gold you get from gold mines. Glory you get from killing people, glory statues, building stuff, and scouting. But seeing as there's nothing to scout, I won't get glory from that, but that's okay. There's plenty of other ways to get it. Wood is used mainly for buildings. So like a settlement costs 250 wood, a tower costs 200 wood and 200 gold, and etc, etc. Gold is used mainly for building units, which are built in the barracks. Glory is used for upgrading units and for researching things at this screen here. 5 tiers, these are related to your hero level, which I will get into in a bit. Okay, so first we're going to need to build a settlement. We do already technically have one. This is a town centre. Settlements evolve into town centres and then into either a town defence or a government centre. A town defence has the ability to train workers just like a town centre, and it acts as a point where workers can drop off resources. So when these workers here, or a slave as they are in Egypt, chop down trees, they have to take it somewhere, and they can take it to a settlement, a town centre, or a government centre, or a town defence. Taxes are also collected, so there's a little circle of influence that this town centre has, and if there are any citizens working, like building something or chopping down trees or mining gold, that is considered working, and you get a taxation of 15 for every worker. I think it's 15, it's either 15 or 5, I can't remember. But yeah, you get that from a town defence, and you get the same from a government centre and from a town centre, but not a settlement. Settlements don't tax, they're just your basic structure. Yeah, so the difference between the government centre and the town defence is that the government centre has increased taxes, so I think it has double the normal tax rate, but I'm not sure on that. And the town defence has probably the most useful ability in the game, is if there are any enemies that come too close to it, a load of elite soldiers will come out and attack them. So town defences are a great way to defend your town, which is in their name, but still. Then you can see down here we have 2 other pictures. These are heroes. We have Cleopatra and we have Ramesses. That's actually Ramesses II if you're a historian, and again, don't pay too much attention to the history details. It's very loosely based around the historical period. There are scythe chariots and flamethrowers in this game. Yeah, I'll get more into the flamethrowers later when they become a problem. Heroes are your leaders. They can go into battle, they have special abilities, and you can control them. So unlike normal RTS games where you're just sort of looking over and watching the battle, you can do that in this game, but you can also take control of your hero and go into the battle and start killing people and chopping them down and helping your civilization flourish. So I'm not going to choose my hero just yet. I'm going to get some things down, some basic stuffs. I'm going to go and put my settlement right there. That looks like a natural little hole. I'm also going to put a tower. That's essentially a building that can defend your units, but essentially arches on top of a large tower. Your hero, if you're in hero mode, can climb up to the top and shoot from there. I don't recommend it because if it gets chopped down, which is quite easy to do, they will die. Okay, so what else can we build? Don't think we're going to want to build anything else yet. I'm going to send one worker to a mine, and the other worker to chop down a tree. Then I'm going to set a waypoint to about there for the town, so they'll all rally at that point where that dust cloud is. And I'll build 10 workers straight away, a town defense, and I'll think about which hero I want. Let's just unpause the game to let stuff happen. Okay, so let's have a look at Cleopatra and Ramesses. Cleopatra, as you can see, an expert marksman, can use her bow in both strategic and hero commands. So she will use her bow instead of charging in strategic mode, which is quite valuable. And her special ability, which is extremely good, Betrayal of Loyalty. Essentially, she makes enemies turn against their faction and join mine permanently, no questions asked. So that's a fantastic ability. But she does have low hit points, and that means she can't fight as long because she'll die. Heroes do respawn, but they take a bit of time. But she is quite fast, so that's another good thing about her. Ramesses, he has the Battle Staff of Ra, a huge battle axe. It's extremely effective and it's fantastic in combat. And his special ability is that he can heal all the nearby units, so they can like go into the middle of enemy units and your units that are taking damage and heal your units, which is extremely useful. And he can also have the most health of any hero, apparently. I thought that was Achilles, seeing as, you know, Achilles was supposedly invincible, but we won't get into that. Well, I'll discuss the other heroes of the factions as we meet them. I think I will choose Ramesses. I'm feeling in a battle axe mood. Oh no, I don't want you to do that. I want you to build me a barracks. I need one of those immediately. Okay, so structures in this game are very similar across all factions. Every faction has a settlement, a tower, a dock, a stable, a glory statue, a barracks, a wall, and an altar, and or a granary. Not all factions have an archery range, only Persia and Egypt do. That's because the other factions can train their archers in their barracks, whereas the Egyptians and Persians cannot. I cannot explain why they chose those two factions. I guess it's because Persians and Egyptians both get chariots, whereas Rome and Greece don't. One important thing to notice is that Egypt and Rome are pretty different, as are Egypt and Greece. Egypt and Persia, however, are very similar. Now, I don't know whether this is just because they're in a kind of similar geographical location, I guess. Well, I suppose that's not really true at all. Egypt's probably nearer Roman territory than Persian territory, but for some reason that I don't quite know, Egypt and Persia and Greece and Rome are very similar to each other. So if something is available as an Egyptian, you're probably going to have it as a Persian. The same is true if you have something as a Greek, you're more likely to have it as a Roman. So for example, the Greeks have a granary instead of an altar, and the Romans have a granary instead of an altar. The Egyptians have an altar, the Persians have an altar. So you can see the similarities. It might just have been lazy designing. It'd be disappointing if that were true, but that is a possibility. What else? I will explain some of the other things as I'm going along. Is that our first enemy? No, that's a turkey. Okay. It kind of looked like a Greek's tail, a Greek shield. Don't judge me. Okay, so I'm pretty certain there's a outpost there. Outposts are like these buildings that have defenders. You attack them and take them over and they become part of your empire. They're quite useful, kind of, for taking and holding up locations, but they'll be a lot easier if there's an option to disable them. Okay, now you might have noticed that my conscripts here have formed into a formation. You need 8 units to create a formation, and they can be up to 64 units big. So once you've got 64 men inside a unit, you'll have to make a new unit. They have group commands, stand ground, guard a particular location, scouting, so they'll run away if they're attacked, and aggressive behaviour. I like to keep mine on stand ground most of the time. These other options are essentially stop, attack, which you can do with right clicks anyway, and break and create formations. You might have noticed that they're also not quite perfectly straight and aligned. That's because they are not as disciplined as some of the other units. So for example, Romans, they are pretty much dead straight lines. Greeks are pretty straight as well, whereas the Persians and Egyptians are a lot more lax. And it does show because the Romans and Greeks are a lot better melee fighters. Okay, so I've got that now. I'm going to turn this one. I guess the government centre would be good, but it's always hard to choose. I rarely go over government centre, and I think I'll stick with that consensus because town defence is just so damn cheap. And I don't mean cheap as in unsportsmanlike. I mean cheap as in cheap. Okay, I'm going to build a wall here because I don't want my enemies being able to get in. I'm also going to extend this wall over here, I think. I'm going to have 2 of my units build it. I like to do this to sort of make sure I can only get attacked from one direction. There we have a town defence, so if a unit is foolish enough to come near my town, it will get attacked by a load of fairly elite units. I might need to get another worker on that. I've got a lot of money, so I will stop gold mining. You might have noticed this unit here. It's a ladder team, so if your enemy has chosen to do what I've done and throw walls around them, you can get these ladder teams to throw ladders up against the walls so you can climb over them. Not too useful if your enemy doesn't have ladders the other side, but kind of useful. I prefer just to knock down the walls, but everyone's different. And you can see here we finally have our hero Ramesses, and he has appeared in the top left. He's level 1, he has 0 kills, and he has a health bar and a stamina bar. This advanced to hero level 2 is what we're going to be striving towards, but we're going to need 500 glory, which we don't have just yet, but we can get, and we will be getting. I will explain more about heroes next time though, because we're out of time for this video. I hope you like this, and you stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching.